This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho, our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again. Get me and Maureen doing a little half-hour shindig that we call the Town Watch. That is if you give it the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail every month because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. It's a good club. They're good stickers. Everything is great. Patreon.com/sayswho.
Hey!
Whoa.
You guys, I'm finishing up a book right now called Death at Morning House, which is going to be out in August. In fact, we're getting emails this morning about foreign editions that have been picked up.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's weird when you're still kind of finishing it and they're like, these people, they read the draft and they're like, you know, the checklist is going of the countries that have picked it up. And
sold that Antarctica edition.
The penguins fucking love
Getting it
it.
translated into penguin.
I'd love to be translated into penguin. So yeah, like a proper UK edition, the Italian edition, the German edition. I can't remember. There's a bunch more. Yeah. So that all just gives your old pal the woogly poogalies as she's finishing a book. But I just want to remind everyone that, by the way, is that bothering everybody with my window open? It was just stuffy in here. I could shut it.
Probably.
I'm going to shut it.
Yeah,
Dad,
let's shut it.
Talk about my books.
It's fun because this is where I get to tell Maureen to shut it. Maureen, shut it.
I shut it. So 9 Liars is out in paperback. You need a little gift. People are loving your guide to not getting murdered in a quaint English village. I've seen photos from the pantomime. I'll talk about that. So You know what to do.
You do. And one of the ways that you can get Maureen's books is going over to kickbezosintheballs.org, which is our own little bookshop over there on the internet. And if you're buying things on the internet, you can go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com, where we have Says Who merchandise. Or if you would like other types of merchandise, you can go to shop.dansinker.com, where I have 3 patches for sale. And if you are doing things on the internet, why not mosey on over to questionmarkohio.com and get caught up on the 9 months that has transpired in Ohio ahead of the launch of part 3, which is next Monday.
Wow.
That is questionmarkohio.com.
.biz.
Not that one.
.fyi.
Also not that one.
.edu.
Nope.
.co.uk.
There are a lot of these now. We're going to be doing this for a while.
.gov. Dan.
Maureen Johnson.
At the end of this episode, I'm gonna have a hard pitch to make to you.
Wow.
I just want everyone
to a monster at the end of this book.
I want you to stay tuned to the pitch at the end of this pod because this bitch has this pitch for the podcast.
You had it there for a minute. This bitch has this pitch was good.
To deal with this sitch.
No, there you go.
But you've got to listen. And if you're missing the end of this, just listen to the fucking end. I have a pitch.
Okay. Man.
Okay, I don't be aggressive about it, but I have an election day pitch.
All right. I feel like if we drag this out long enough, you're just going to reveal it all right now.
No, only at the end.
Okay. Well, maybe we should start. Well,
to Says Who, the podcast that isn't a podcast.
It's a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
And I am your co-host, Maureen Johnson.
It's true.
Live from New York, it's Maureen Johnson.
Hey.
That's when the saxophones start playing, and there's footage of me. I'm sitting in a diner, and I'm like, I'm catching me off guard. I'm like,
yeah,
I need some new photos taken. Maybe I'll make them look like that. Like I'm like,
it's good.
In a diner.
Think you should definitely diner.
I hate
off guard photos.
God, I hate having my photo taken. I think I'd rather go to the dentist.
Wow.
Really hate
it.
There's
a guy in Chicago that does headshots.
Oh, congratulations.
And he has a rig that takes 600 photos in like 1 minute, and it flashes all these lights around, and it's just like this, and then you have 600 photos, and then you're done.
I don't know about that.
I didn't do it, but my friend did it. I kind of want to do it.
It took like 6 hours last time to get a photo where my face didn't look like an actual volleyball. I have a
probably shouldn't have spent the first 5.5 hours posing with volleyball players.
Yeah, and holding them like right at heads.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that was a mistake. In retrospect, a mistake.
I have a round face.
Yes.
I have a real round face that
it's not that round.
It's pretty round. Like,
I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, but when you take pictures of me, it really flattens, like it goes, and I look like when they draw faces on the moon. Like it's just it's just like around with a little tiny face in the middle.
You should lean into it. You should do a little moon shot.
Oh, I'm telling you, like even Oscar
you could pose with that movie from the 20s where the thing crashes into the moon. You could just have a little thing sticking out of your eye. Go for it.
Well, Dan, it'll be this eye too. This eye that doesn't work.
Oh, right. How is your eye?
Doesn't work.
Same old, same old?
Well, it works, but it doesn't work it's like I'm constantly looking through a wet window pane.
Oh, fun. That's nice.
And it may be forever, but that is, I'm working on getting a second opinion when I get back from Mexico, because it's really, really hard to get eye doctor's appointments. But I am going to be on Dr. Glaucoma Feckin's podcast, who is the incredibly funny doctor from TikTok.
Okay.
If you've ever seen it, it's
nope.
Oh my God. I've been a big fan for a while. I got to know him through the back channels. I helped him set up his candle business.
Wow.
He is a very, very, very funny doctor who is an eye doctor.
Okay.
And he made videos about basically what it's like to be all these different types of doctor.
Oh, I think I've seen these.
Yeah. Guy has a little beard and kind of curly hair.
Okay.
And but then he also makes videos that are the doctor's eye view of the American health insurance system.
Yeah, those are the ones that I think I've seen.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible. And now he's doing like speaking all over the world, and like he's a super nice guy.
But is he going to look at your eye?
No, he's like I think he's in Oregon or something like that.
Okay.
But he has a podcast, and he's like, you have to bring all your eye questions. He's like, I'm really sorry about your eye. Bring all your eye questions. So, but he's funny.
Okay.
Do you know he almost died twice?
No.
He almost died twice. He's only, I don't even think he's 40. I think he's in his 30s. He had cancer and recovered.
Okay.
So that's maybe not like an almost. He had cancer, recovered. But then he had a heart attack one night.
Oh, geez.
Just like out of the blue, had a heart attack. And his wife did CPR until the ambulance got there and saved
Holy
his life.
shit.
Yeah. And so now they really advocate for learning CPR.
Wow.
This guy's been through it.
Apparently.
And he's funny as hell. So, if you don't get some Dr. Glaucoma Feckin. I was like, what you need, my friend, is one of those candles. My friend, he's king of candles.
It's true. What candle does he need?
Oh, his candle's already in production. It's already in. It's like
they're done.
It's his, the various types of doctor. They're all candles of light. And I think of one of his assistant, because apparently eye doctors get something called a scribe.
Wow.
I don't know what that's about, but they get one. And so one of his characters is his loyal scribe, Jonathan, who will do anything for him, including being an ottoman that he can put his feet up on. So
okay. That's
a lot of words. I'm trying not to get too down about the whole eye situation and try to be more upbeat about it.
As somebody that has had an eye situation for a very long time, your brain does wonderful things to make you forget about your eye situation. Might not be a long-term fix, but eventually your brain will adapt to your sitch.
Oh, that's what I'm told, is that and I do it sometimes. Sometimes I just sit there and try to meditate, and I just kind of stare into the middle distance and go, "You can see fine." And I try to give my brain a a little bit of time to rewire neurologically. Okay. I don't know if that helps, but it's calming.
I don't know that that's a necessary part of the process, but if it works for you, that's great.
I think it does because it makes me more chill about it.
Okay.
And that's like most of the problem. Like I can, it's just trying not to get headaches, trying to see through it. And it's all good, Dan.
Well, beyond your eye, Maureen Johnson, how are you?
Working on this book, Dan.
How's it going?
It's really good. Like they gave me enough time to do these rewrites that I felt like I needed. So that's great.
Well, and I'm
flying to Mexico on Sunday.
Oh, dang.
Carrying this book with me. And then I will be in the company of these other writers who are in the process of reading it.
Okay. Well, that's perfect.
Giving me some notes. So it's going to be...
How long are you in Mexico for?
We'll go on the 28th and we come back on the 8th. It's like 10 days, basically.
Oh, man.
And Dan, if I showed you pictures of the place.
Right now, we are no longer sub-zero temperatured, but instead it is like 33 degrees and sleeting. It is awful outside. I would love to be in Mexico.
I'm Dan. Don't share the name of this place.
Okay.
But I'm about to send you the link to it. This is the house.
Holy wow.
This is the house that it's like, go to just the photos.
You're using house really liberally.
I've stayed in this one like because she got it before.
Wow.
And so I've been to this place and it is the nicest place I have ever been.
I mean, yeah.
Holy
cow.
It's nuts.
Yeah, I would say that it is in fact nuts.
So
is that like an infinity pool as a balcony?
It's an infinity pool that looks it.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's not like a balcony. It just kind of is, and then it just kind of looks out over the water.
Yeah.
But like as you can see, this is where we all work together. And it's a beautiful.
That is something.
It's nuts. Like I can't. That's why I'm like. It's quite a house.
Yeah, I would say so. What are these like photographs of puffy rectangles? Are these like giant beanbag chairs?
They're kind of ottomans, I think.
Oh, okay.
My favorite part, one of them is this you'll see a little kind of kitchen area. That's just like a breakfast pavilion where every morning they put out a giant breakfast buffet.
Well, that's nice.
Like, and every day it's something sort of magical. Like they always made something each day, like some amazing, crazy omelet dish or, something like cinnamon French toast sticks with something like in it. And I would always be like, and every single day they're like, she eats plain yogurt and fruit every single morning, no matter what anyone else is eating, every single morning, plain yogurt and fruit.
I was in a low budget hotel in Florence, Kentucky that had free breakfast. I was working on this thing with Aquila. And they had French toast sticks one day. And boy, those were good. I had not had a French toast stick in a long time. And that was a delicious time.
Oh man, that's why I don't eat them, because I can eat my own weight in.
Yeah.
If you offer me like a lemon ricotta pancake or something, like,
there you go.
I can't. Like, I can't do it. Anyway, I feel bad sharing these photos down, but also I'm so excited.
Yeah. The weather really couldn't be lousier here in the last few weeks. And it is, now I am looking at like the 10-day and it's like, oh, look at that. Every day is going to be above freezing. It's going to be 38 and cloudy and rainy. Oh, that's going to be so nice. But the reality is it's not that nice. Yes, it's no longer a temperature that will kill you if you are outside for very long. But yeah, it's really gross out.
This house has the pool, but then they kind of made these little channels that kind of go around between the buildings and up to some of the rooms. So like some of the rooms have a little plunge pool, and most of it is decorative. But when I was there last time, I attempted to swim all those little channels. Like I was kind of sliding between the like a little eel. Like I was like, just going around. I get into stuff, Dan. Anyway, I feel bad, but I think you can see why I'm excited.
Yeah.
And Oscar's coming.
How many people go on this endeavor?
It can be a good few. I think the initial crew is like 6 when we arrive, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like up to 12.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we kind of rotate in and out. So Cassie, who rents the house, like we kind of have to say which weeks we're going to be there. So like,
yeah,
because when we leave our room, like it'll be occupied by like another person coming in for like another part. So like we're all scheduled, throughout the bedrooms throughout the various days. So, but we do a lot of stuff, when we like,
that's
this
awesome.
it's genuinely, when I lay down at night, I'm like, Maureen, be fucking thankful. Like, thank your lucky stars.
I mean, the greatest thing about this is that it is totally a business expense for anyone that needs to, like, that is good move.
Well, my friend Cassie, I'm going to just say she's very successful. And she said, what I want to do is travel with my friends. And because we all just work all the time, just go to places where we sit and we work together and we have story conferences and we stand in the pool and we talk about story for 5 hours until we prune. It's where I've learned a lot. It's where I've made decisions about new stuff to try.
Yeah.
Holly Black swims around and chases me. He goes, what about your romance plot line? And I swim like an eel around the building. Go, no. Am I a bad person?
What? Why? What? No.
Because I get to go to a nice place.
Yeah, that's how that works. Definitely how it works is you are a bad person because you get to do something nice.
Dan? That's how my brain works. And I think a lot of people feel that.
No, you're not a bad person.
Disagree.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
I don't really know how this place exists. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't understand this model of like why you would build a fancy place like this. Like, my brain didn't actually know that these kind of places exist.
Right. Totally.
I was like, this is a thing? You can just get a house like this somewhere and just be in it? Okay. I don't know a lot of stuff, Dan. Like, I don't know a lot of things.
Oh, I know that feeling.
You know
that feeling.
That Maureen doesn't know a lot of things?
Yep, exactly.
Wow, harsh.
So, hey, truth hurts.
Well, Dan. I'm trying to just appreciate everything about 2024.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for my friends. I'm incredibly grateful to be able to go away.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to be back, just, doing my best.
That's great. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
I've had a very weird experience with 2024.
Oh?
Of which we are only 23, 24 days into. But so far, things have gone well, which is weird for me.
Oh, why did he have to say it? Dan, why just say it?
Well, I mean, because, that's just how it goes. But I've managed to already accomplish a few things that were on my, I need to do this year list. And suddenly, boom, 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 those things are done. Yeah, it's weird because I have very little hope that this year is actually going to be a good year, generally. But for me personally, it does feel like a lot of the breadcrumbs that I have kind of laid down over the last multiple years have begun to lead me to the place that I actually hope to go. So that is great. It's been a wild few weeks.
I'm really happy about that. And now I'm just so nervous because I'm talking about how much I'm happy and appreciative that I'm going to go on this writing retreat and finish up this book. And you're saying how well everything's gone. And I feel like that's all good, but it makes me just unbelievably nervous. Should we be doing this? You know what I mean? Like, should we be saying this?
I think we can say things. I think it's okay to say, hey, look at that.
Is it okay? So it's okay to go to a nice place
Yes.
and enjoy the company of your friends and get work done.
Yeah. It's even okay to go to a nice place and enjoy the company of your friends and not do work.
That's the part I can't.
Yeah. That part maybe is maybe put that on the list for 2025.
Well, these are specifically work retreats. So I think because all of us, they kind of came about because none of us ever really stopped.
Yeah.
So we just made it a thing where we just would work together in nice places.
That's smart.
So,
That's
I say we, Cassie really, really puts together these retreats. So it's,
not me. I never stop. And instead I just work in these hell places where it's always cold and wet and gross.
I do a bunch of that
right now.
I do the work in Philly as well. You know, I'll be going as soon as I come back from Mexico, I'll be going right to Philly to pick up the dog and staying down there for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Where I'll be right back in the trenches, Dan, doing weird stuff.
So what is your new deadline? What is your new book deadline?
The 4th
of March. February? Oh, okay.
So I'll be finishing it there and transmitting.
Boom. You sure
and then
will.
Immediately getting into this next thing that I have to get done. But,
okay.
That's okay, because that's, again, what it's there for.
Right.
The whole point is, so, and then going right to Philly, you know, where I've already got a list of stuff I'm going to have to do.
Of course you do.
Just, you know, stuff there's always something weird cooking down in Philly for some shit for yours truly to be doing.
Seems that way.
I sent you some photos, Dan. I like to send Dan photos occasionally that prove that I'm never lying.
Yeah. Which ones are you referring to?
Well, for example, when I was down in Philly last, I sent you a photo of the house full of air fryers.
Oh,
and
yeah,
weird luggage and stuff. This week I sent a few glimpses from life here in the big city where shit has gotten real in the old building. Because we have a compost bin. I'm not bragging, Dan.
Wow.
Look, I'm not bragging, but we kind of have a compost bin in the basement and some jagoff.
So by this you mean for an enormous building you have some kind of a container in the basement that just is full of rotting food.
Correct.
Perfect.
It's got a big green line. I will say that for an enormous building, there is one bin. So there is some jagoff that was just dumping their garbage in this bin. Like full sacks of like plastic and garbage.
Okay.
And then somebody, and I definitely know who, I know which neighbor it is.
Okay.
Took a picture of it and made a flyer and put up a very neat flyer that said, "Don't be this guy." With a picture of the bin. And I was like, that's pretty funny. Like, you know, shots fired, but like good. Like a good reminder, don't put, like, that's not what the compost bin is for.
Right.
Well, evidently, Dan, that did not work.
Weird.
Because then
that's super weird. I would have expected that to go over great.
This next flyer appeared, which I sent you a photo of. And this one it's all caps printed in 3 different colors, red, blue, and green. Like it's been laid out, but like it's got some underlining. It's got some font size stuff. It's a whole thing. Yeah. And it says, "Shame on you," then a first name and a last initial. So the person was identified because they were actually leaving like takeout bags and stuff in there.
Yeah.
"Stop leaving your big white plastic garbage bags in the basement. There's a trash chute on every floor. You need to separate your trash out and recycling too. Get with it, buddy. Leaving raw trash in the basement attracts bugs and rodents. We all live here, and you need to," abrupt color change, "get with the program. Your neighbors are watching you."
So I have a few questions here.
Sure. Yep.
Question 1.
Okay.
This is what kind of a container that is your compost?
It's a brown lidded trash bin that seals. It kind of lock seals to keep in. Okay. So like you put it and you turn it so it keeps it shut. And it's lined with a green compost bin.
And this person is putting trash bags in and closing it again or leaving it open?
It's like heaving with like they just shove a giant trash bag on top and then like like a bunch of takeout bag. So it's like it's heaving over the top. And it's just trash.
And the trash chute goes where?
Okay. Every floor has a very tiny trash chute that we have to kind of punch our trash bag into.
Sure.
So you take your trash bag, you open this mysterious door, and there's a little chute in the wall from the 40s when trash was smaller, and you pound that fucker in there. You pound it. So if God forbid, if you get a big piece of like styrofoam or something, you got to break that shit apart.
Right.
And then you hear it falling like,
But it lands somewhere.
In the basement, secret room.
Okay. So it's just that this trash is ending up in the wrong part of the basement.
Well, the secret trash room is behind a closed door. None of us ever see that.
Got it.
But the compost is out. It has a little compost area. There's the one brown official city compost bin with the locking lid. And there's you only put in compostable materials.
Right.
Whatever.
Got it.
But this asshole is just jamming stuff in there.
Treating it like a trash. So this guy is traveling down to the basement with his trash.
Yes.
Instead of putting it in the trash chute. So he's going out of his way to put this there. But there is no method in the basement for just throwing regular trash away.
No. There are recycling areas.
Exclusively go through the trash chute if you have trash.
Trash goes in the chute. Down in the basement, we have recycling area and a compost area.
Got it.
He's also not sorting his recycling. Like all that shit's in there.
Watch out for this dude.
Like he just dumps it.
This is just anarchy.
I think it's one of the dental students that listens to like gym music all day long. I think that's who this person is. But these
dental
flyers went up.
Are wild.
But these flyers were then torn down, like clawed from the wall because there were kind of remnants of them.
Yeah.
And then clearly somebody said something to somebody about these because then new flyers have now appeared that are more just without the name.
Oh, yeah.
And without the threats that your neighbors are watching you that I think.
Right.
The name.
Yeah, the name as well.
It was
the name involves some sleuthing to have
not that hard, not really that hard. That they had takeout, they left takeout things in there. So all you have to do is take and look. This is what's like in New York, Dan. There's a battle for territory everywhere you go.
Thing is, person doesn't have to live like that. I'm just saying.
What do you mean?
Putting that out there.
What do you mean?
Just you don't have to. But I will say that dental students are nuts. Janice used to work at a library at a university that had a dental program, and a lot of student workers were dental students, and so she became friends with them. And I remember one time she had I think it was a Halloween party, and the dental students showed up with we made Jell-O shots or whatever. And we were like, that's great. And it turned out their hilarious dental student joke was to put topical anesthetic on the rims of the cups. So then suddenly you were like, why can't people feel in the mouth at all? They're wild.
These they listen to Los Unch all day, like
okay.
That's just that's the only music they listen to. And I'm like, they seem to just seriously be listening to background gym noises.
Okay.
It's not even actual kind of real techno or dance stuff. It's just some gym music. I don't understand it. But and man, they get a lot of, because I see their delivery arrive, and they get a lot of McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts delivered that just sits by their door for hours.
Oh, that part's gross. They should eat it.
You wake up and there's still a McDonald's bag outside their door, and I'm like, what's going on in there? What's going on in there?
I would love to live in a situation where I just got McDonald's breakfast delivered all the time. That would be living. Right.
Is that
there.
A good choice?
Well, I mean, that's probably why I don't do it. But
right.
But boy,
you can have it.
The dream right there.
You can have it.
You're going to this beautiful place in Mexico. You're getting these cool little fresh things. I would just be happy with just a McDonald's bag in front of my door. Look at this.
That's the trouble with living in New York. It is altogether too easy to get anything just to show up at your house.
I think the thing that's really interesting about that statement is easy means different things in different places.
Right. It's expensive.
Because while it's easy to get things delivered, there is a whole series of trade-offs that come with that ease. One of which is pitched battles over trash in your basement.
Not me. I every single crumb goes in the right container with it. Yours truly, Dan.
Good job.
I'm a ferocious composter. I have a little pail and I put every little thing in there and I wrap it up. Oh yeah, Dan. But Dan, that's
gotta love that compost situation is the rats.
Well, these bins
they gotta love that shit.
Pretty well sealed. Like they lock.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told you, Dan. New York, we have a lot of great stuff going on. Trash bins and a little trial, Dan. See how I did that?
Okay.
Well, Donald.
Oh, a trial.
God,
you do. I thought you were talking about like a trial of trash bins.
Dan, I handed it to you, Dan. I was like, here it is.
Yeah. Well, oh, Maureen, yeah, there is, in fact, a little trial happening. Although, should I say, not happening.
Oh. There we go. Now we're back.
Carroll's defamation suit against Donald Trump has been delayed to Wednesday at best due to COVID concerns. On Monday, one juror called in en route to the trial to say that they were not feeling well. They were sent home to take a COVID test. The results of that COVID test were never released, but I would assume that they were positive. Only after that did Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, tell the judge that she also had a fever after having been with relatives 3 days ago. Those relatives tested positive for COVID. She then also said that her co-counsel, Michael Matteo, had also been exposed to COVID. Both of them tested negative at the time, but come on. And then there's this little nugget, Maureen, from NBC's coverage. Both tested negative for COVID in court and were seated shoulder to shoulder on either side of Trump, 77, without any masks on as they addressed U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan. Maureen, please, could we get one last ride of Trump catching COVID?
It's bound to happen, right?
I mean, I would assume it's probably happened a number of times already.
That he's had it again.
Yes, but I would just like him to have to admit that he has it, and I wouldn't mind him getting real sick. And if we're getting really down to details, let's just do it. Let's get this one done.
It's dark.
Hey, it's fine.
It is actually fine.
This dude is surrounded by people that clearly have COVID.
Yeah. There's so much COVID around him.
There is so much COVID around him. Let's just do it. Come on. Come on, little coronavirus.
Come on,
fucking
champ.
with us for years. Just get it done.
Just do it.
Do one thing. Do one good thing.
Do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing. Show us what you got.
So what I liked about this is it made me realize something I hadn't even factored in for this year.
Yeah.
And that is that his schedule is at the whims of just jurors not feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can make all these plans, but if they're like, no, juror had to go home.
Yeah.
Then, presumably they can be like, you have to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Rally be damned. Like you're going to be back in court.
Yeah. This judge is pretty hardcore. Like they tried to get a last Thursday off because it was fucking Melania's mom's funeral. And the judge was like, nah, which is pretty wild, actually.
Yeah, he's been with a lot of stuff. He's been like, stop it. No.
Yeah.
Shut that shit down. No. Yeah. Quit it. No. So the outcome of this, and also he keeps going out every time he leaves the court and defames her more. And I feel like he's just endlessly, this is like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Like, it's that song. It's just constantly repeating. It's 100 bottles of beer on the wall.
This is going to be a defamation case that's like a Mobius strip.
Yeah, like they're like, well, he defamed us, and then they have to extend it for another day because he's like defamed her the day before, and then someone gets sick with COVID, and then the whole thing just kind of stretches on a little bit. Okay, some real talk.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think he's going to get COVID again this time?
I would just love it. I would love it. I mean, like I said, I'm sure he has had it. Like, that dude is hanging out in, like, I would assume that Mar-a-Lago has its own variant at this point. That shit has been passed around so many times that there are just unique traits that can be traced all the way back to the Mar-a-Lago variant. But I would assume that he has had it, and just, why would they admit it?
Well, let's get extremely real and then talk about one of the big talking things everyone's talking about this week in terms of talking.
Yeah. Is this about talking?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Great.
Is that his talking is getting weirder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really weird.
Yep.
Just more like, he used to always be weird.
Yeah.
But now it's just gibberish.
Yes. Gibberish and confused gibberish.
Yeah, like really quite kind of famously this week, he kept talking about how Nikki Haley did nothing to prevent January 6th.
Yeah. When clearly what he meant was Nancy Pelosi, which are very, very different people. And it's hard to confuse those two.
And the thing is that you could kind of swap the end name. Let's just say Nancy, Nikki. Okay, it was a one-time swap, but it wasn't.
Right.
Like, he kind of really seemed to merge them.
Oh, yeah.
He was
I think in his head, there's just like a single little slot for enemy, right? And so whoever is in that slot just gets the catch-all,
for that day. Yeah, because that's a hot spot.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot spot. But yeah, she was sitting in that little enemy slot right now. So, and then he just sort of has a sort of a loop of litany that he'll go over. And she was in that loop this time.
Yeah, I mean, again, as we've said so many times, there's a process clearly going on.
Okay.
With his mental health.
Yes.
Certainly memory.
Yeah. That process is decline.
Again, it's to be expected for a number of things. Running for president will take it out of anybody. You could be a 25-year-old triathlete.
Yeah.
And running for president would tax you.
Yeah. This is his third time doing that. Yeah.
And to be 77, 78, 79 and unfit, like just generally not like a super healthy.
Yeah.
And you may have had COVID several times, and you're under all of these stressors, which are stressing your heart, stressing your system, stressing your mind. Yeah. These things are going to break a person apart.
Yeah.
And he's fragmenting.
Yeah.
To the point where you can't, I don't even see them getting excited at a rally because he's saying just bags of words. And like,
right.
There's nothing to respond to because he's literally, it's gibberish coming out.
Right.
So I don't know what those rallies look like now.
Right.
Because he was holding it together. Like 2016, he held it together in terms, he was horrible. But he made horrible speeches about things that you could follow.
Yeah.
They were horrifying, but you could follow the sentences.
Yeah.
Now you cannot.
Well, great. That's good.
And I don't know what that looks like. And Nikki Haley, has made it her kind of big message this week, because it was pretty handy for her to be like, yeah, he just gave a big speech yesterday and said I thought I was Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. She's definitely made hay about it and in kind of politicking it has managed to sort of also subtly imply Biden in the mix too, right?
Mhm.
Like just sort of generally calling question into the age of both of these candidates.
And Dana, a stopped clock
Yeah.
is right twice a day, and she's not wrong.
Biden's people are hitting on it as well. They've decided it's kind of open season, and I think it's probably smart. If anything, it's actually the Trumpian playbook of, take a thing that is one of your weaknesses and amplify it on your opponent as well. So, because I've seen a number of ads that they've cut together and things like that of him just being batshit. But the good news is. As we speak, the New Hampshire primary is happening.
Yeah, today is Tuesday.
Perhaps it's Nikki Haley's last stand. She did win all 6 votes in the Dixville Notch midnight primary, which is the quaint little town in New Hampshire that votes of 6 people that votes, and weirdly predicts the outcome of the state more often than not. Though,
and she got all 6 votes.
She got all 6, but they also have these 6 people seem to not like Donald Trump because I don't think he's won that town any time. So I wouldn't put a lot of stock into it. Trump is polling 60% in the state to 40% from Nikki Haley. This is likely the last competitive race in the primary calendar, though Nikki Haley, at least today, is saying that she will not drop out even if she loses it. The next race is in South Carolina, which she used to be the governor of, but is likely going to lose that by a lot. She is the last non-Trump standing in the Republican primary, Maureen, after Ron DeSantis dropped out.
Oh, man.
He managed to run a campaign that lit about $300 million on fire. Didn't win shit. Is absolutely hilarious in a lot of ways. The guy was so convinced, and the people around him were so convinced, that they named their super PAC Never Back Down, when in fact, they have backed down. While this time last year, it felt like, he might really do this.
Yeah.
He was running roughshod through Florida. He seemed to be making a good play of trying to be a less erratic Donald Trump. But it turns out that he is just such an unlikable weirdo that it never, ever happened for him. As soon as he hit the national stage, people were like, this guy is a weird creep.
And that's correct.
Yeah. Credit to writer Jamel Bowie, who called this from jump, repeatedly said that DeSantis was not going to get anywhere because he, quote, didn't have the juice. And in fact, it turns out he did not have the juice.
We had Jamel in our original 8-episode run.
Yeah, we did.
And Dan,
he has been hilarious about Ron DeSantis. He has had that dude's number from day one.
Dan, it really makes you wonder, because he is so right.
Yeah.
About Ron not having the juice. And it really makes you think, what the fuck is in this juice? What's it made of?
It makes me wonder what the fuck is up with Florida. Like, the Florida Republicans elected this dude twice. The first time it was very close, if I'm not mistaken. There wasn't any better option. There wasn't somebody that could actually interact with humans.
We don't have the bandwidth to figure out what the fuck is wrong with Florida.
It's true.
But the it quality that makes you the presidential candidate in the United States. Yeah. That special something.
Yeah.
The fuck is in that? What is this juice? What the fuck is it made of? This is like that juice that when you lifted a soggy trash bag off the New York sidewalk that's pooling underneath that dogs like to sniff.
Yeah, it's true. And maybe we're the dogs in this metaphor. That is the juice, and we're the dogs.
And we're like, what is this?
Captivated by trash juice.
Should I lick it? Should I lick the juice? Should I lick this juice? What's in this juice? It's definitely something died. Something died. What is it? There's food in there. Old food.
As funny as it is, Maureen, that Ron DeSantis is walking awkwardly in his lifted shoes into the sunset, is less funny that he basically destroyed Florida in his ambition to be the Fox Newsiest candidate possible. And that in his process of just putting together the worst possible laws in order to strengthen his conservative bona fides, he also created a framework that dozens of states have followed ever since. His bullshit around critical race theory decimated the teaching of Black history in the state, even went as far as banning the AP Black history curriculum. That then has been echoed in states across the country. The Don't Say Gay bill dictated how teachers in the state could talk about sexual orientation, even in their own lives. These two pieces of legislation, both racist and homophobic, kicked off the whole book banning movement. There's no small thing that the Moms for Liberty also grew out of Florida, all sort of in the same kind of creepy world that DeSantis runs in. Also no small bit that the Moms for Liberty grew out of his pro-COVID response in the state. Don't forget that Don't Say Gay is also why he started attacking Disney, which turns out was one of the kind of early, when he hit the national stage, people were like, the fuck are you doing? Like, what? Yeah. Why would you try to cast Disney as this child-hating groomer company? Like,
that wasn't a good one.
That one didn't fly.
Didn't do well.
But his battle with Disney also led to the creation of anti-woke legislation, as he put it, which started the attacks that we're now seeing accelerate right now on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. He passed anti-trans legislation outlawing gender-affirming care for kids and also for adults. It just goes on and on and on. Like, basically all of the shit that is happening in state houses in this country now, whether it's the racist shit, whether it's the homophobic shit, whether it's just straight up all the book banning shit, all of this started in Florida. All of this started because Ron DeSantis wanted to run for fucking president. And then he lost spec-fucking-tacularly.
Yeah.
So it was all for fucking nothing.
Yeah. It was all for nothing. He burned it down for nothing.
Yeah.
Which is why, Dan, I'm about to make my pitch.
Okay.
Now, Dan, we have to walk through the door that is November 5th, 2024. We have no choice.
Yeah.
But I believe that we should do it together in person.
Okay.
And I believe we should do it in Florida at Disney World.
Well.
I believe that we should have a schedule throughout that day.
Okay.
Like a little checklist.
Yeah.
And if certain states go, say, certain ways or whatever, it dictates what ride we go to.
Yeah.
Like, we're watching it on our phones.
This would be a very late evening.
What time does it close?
I mean, it all depends, but probably between 10 and midnight.
So, but it's open at least until 10, would you say?
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet.
Here's what I propose.
Okay.
We go there in the morning to do a nice morning run.
Yeah.
Early, a couple Haunted Mansion rides.
Yeah.
Back, we rest in the afternoon to regain our strength.
Mm-hmm.
Eat nourishing foods.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have our phones watching what's going on, and we walk with our families hand in hand through Disney World.
Yeah.
And if we feel the need to just sit down and take it in, we can do that at a Main Street cafe.
Sure.
We could live stream some of it,
Yeah.
And when we see where it's going, then we get on the Haunted Mansion. I'm deadly serious. We've said we're going.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the time.
I don't hate this idea. I do wonder if maybe we want to go to Disneyland instead of World to avoid the Florida of it all. To consider. We can work out some of these details, but I don't hate this idea.
I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit more for the land because I feel like...
the world, you mean?
Sorry, the world. I feel like there's I feel like we're tipping our hat to Florida and saying this was all part of it. We'll be in the weird place as it's going down.
Yeah.
And there's various little other escape routes that we can take.
True.
Through different, parks.
Yep. True.
But I feel like we've always said we're going.
Yeah.
We've never gone.
That's true.
And where else would you want to watch the results of this?
It's true. It would be full circle. We were in Disneyland for Inauguration Day 2016. So, yeah. In fact, I was just my phone was reminding me 7 years ago today when we were there.
I'm not riding Space Mountain because that is an anxiety attack. It's the most terrified I think I've ever been.
I feel like though, if rides are dictated by outcomes, the worst possible outcomes happen. Space Mountain. It's like the living embodiment of it all.
I won't be physically capable of that.
Yeah,
I'll be ill.
There is that.
Just a nice, we're together, we're having a Mickey Pop. Oh, we're having a Dole Whip, of course.
Of course.
With a little rum in it.
Can't get that in Disneyland or World proper, but
I'm just saying, Dan.
Polynesian.
I think we start setting it up now.
That's a pretty good idea. I think that's a pretty good idea. I don't have a lot of objections to that idea.
We set it. We book some rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you can...
I think that's a pretty good idea.
I'm only sad you can't recall your son, your tall son, for this.
If we did Disneyland, he could probably come.
Oh, that's a good point.
Although not on a Tuesday.
Not on a Tuesday.
That's like straight school.
It's just something to think about, but I feel like this is the right thing, and I think that SaysWhovia is going to agree with me here.
I think you might be. I think you are likely very much onto something.
Because, Dan, let's be very truthful. This election day is certainly not the end of something. It's the sinkhole opening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to call it right now, Dan, which one of these two would win? It's tough, right?
I think it's actually a really tough call. I think that intellectually, I think that Donald Trump has the edge. But then when I actually stop and think about it,
you don't mean Donald Trump himself has the intellectual edge.
No, I mean, like, I like my initial thing is I think it's Trump. I think Trump is winning. But then when I actually stop and think about the fact that we've already done this whole thing once, and that when push comes to shove, I do think that there is a large swath of people that very much don't want Donald Trump to become president again.
Right.
The trick is, are they in the right states? And that one I'm not sure of. But I think that it is going, just like the last one, I think it is going to be very, very close. But I do think, at least right now, Trump might have the edge.
And what if Trump goes away and it's Nikki Haley?
I think almost certainly she would win.
Yep.
Yeah. Which wouldn't be great. Let's
Oh, no.
face facts here. It might not be a full existential crisis for the American experiment, but it would not be great for any of us just cruising around.
Right. So let's just say it's election day. Biden wins.
Yeah.
Trump 100% can't accept that.
Right.
Then some shit starts. Where do you want to be when that happens?
I mean, counterpoint on that, maybe not Florida.
Right. I understand that, but it is...
when you put it like that, a person might want to be in California at that moment.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Rental car. Drive south.
In
Key West.
Florida?
Key West.
I mean, I guess.
Jumping off point.
I mean, literally.
Get on a boat.
Yeah, but if you're in California, you could just drive south and literally be in Mexico.
I can't leave my dog behind.
Wait, you're bringing your dog to Florida?
No, but I have to be able to get back to her. On a boat, I could get back to her.
Oh, so you would go to Key West and then take a boat up the entire eastern seaboard?
Jet ski if I have to.
Okay.
I'll do what I have to get my girl.
All right, I get it.
I'd walk through a fire to get that girl.
Yeah, yeah.
She's the reason I just bought 2 fire cloaks and 4 fire blankets.
I have been thinking about your fire cloak and fire blankets and have been just trying to imagine the scenario where those come into play, and that is a harrowing scenario, I will say.
Yeah, we have a lot of floors we have to walk down in a...
I will say yet again, you don't have to live like that.
Mm-hmm.
14 floors of a towering inferno is a harrowing escape. That is for certain.
Yep. But, it's great here, Dan. We have trash bins.
Yeah, it's true. And recycling bins.
So
and sometimes you can just put your trash in there.
Is he in court today downtown, Dan? Are they back?
Is what?
Is he back in court today? Because he wasn't yesterday.
No, he's not today because his lawyer might have COVID. So they pushed it to at least tomorrow. And then he was able to then go to New Hampshire today.
Great.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Anyway, you all listening will know the results of the New Hampshire.
So you're not sitting on pins and needles going, who will win New Hampshire? Even if
I think that Donald Trump wins New Hampshire.
Of course. Like nobody's sitting here going, what's going to happen?
Yeah. And I think she might try to hold out for a little while longer. She raised a bunch of money when DeSantis dropped out, but it's a zombie, at that point. It's not a real living campaign at that point.
And then I'm telling you, they all have to re-up on Trump. They all have to know what they know about him and agree to do it again.
Yep.
And that's the soul that is decaying dies further.
Yes. It's true. That's our new slogan. Says who? The soul that is decaying dies further.
Now we're going to have a mindfulness moment.
Oh, okay.
Now every week, I'm working on a calming voice for my mindfulness moment. Been developing it. Listen, sometimes you just got to say, fuck off to certain things.
It's true.
This reality that we've been given with the whole Trump-Biden thing, it's all right to say, nope. Because the concept, Dan, is that this is the narrative that is going to overarch all of us, that this is the thing that we have to, this is the umbrella we must walk under. Imagine that story is an umbrella you must walk under. But what if, Dan, another reality was possible? And we rejected that narrative and said, while that goes on, we are going to walk under a different umbrella. We're going to walk under a bigger umbrella, a brighter umbrella, into a place where we don't need an umbrella. There are other narratives, Dan. There are other stories to tell and other realities to make. If this system does not work, we must revascularize the other systems and bring them back to life. We must commit ourselves elsewhere, Dan, and say nope to the bullshit and yes to the good shit. That's what I'm saying. Recommit to the new narrative. It's gonna be great. Everything is gonna be fine. Relax.
Well, on that note, Says Who is made possible by you.
I'm really sorry about the Mexico stuff.
Oh, stop it.
Why did I talk about it? Because I was excited.
You're allowed to be excited. You are, in fact, allowed to have nice things. Through our support, your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswhovia. Who, our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again, except it's only half an hour long. And if you give it the $10 a month level, you get a sticker in the mail every month because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. Our theme music is performed by Ted Leo. Our logo is designed by Darth. You can contact us at Says Who Podcast on Threads. We are off of Twitter. You all should get off of Twitter too. Elon Musk is a terrible fucking human being.
That's true.
Full stop.
New narrative. He's not in it either.
Yeah. Anyway, we are on Threads at Says Who Podcast. We are also on Mastodon at Says Who at omfg.town. You can always email us at hey, that's HEY at SaysWhoPodcast.com. You can join the discussion on Facebook at /group/SaysWhovians. Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. Thanks, Janice. And if you want to join the fan-run Discord server, you can always visit tinyurl.com/SaysWhoDiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, please leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is that you listen. You can join us next Wednesday, January 31st, for our next episode. From my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
Do you agree with my plan?
I think it's a good plan. I think there's a lot of details we need to sort, including where we want to be and all of that. But I like the idea of embracing joy on a day that is going to be hard.
Even if we just ride, there's a little train or something that goes around, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
I never take that train.
Goes around Disney
Even if we just get drunk and ride that train around.
That's fun.
Just keep getting on the Dumbo ride. Gotta go back in the one with all the birds again.
It's a lot easier to get drunk at Epcot than it is at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I haven't been to Epcot since
it's actually quite hard to get drunk at the Magic Kingdom. I'm not sure. I think there's like 2 places maybe that serve alcohol.
Anywhere can serve alcohol if you think about it hard enough, Dan.
It's true. I guess anywhere could serve alcohol if you wait long enough.
What's the place that was like all alcohol? It was the kind of California, like it was the one with the Tower of Terror.
Disney California Adventure. Yeah.
No, in Florida.
Oh yeah, Hollywood Studios. Yeah, they have a lot of alcohol there.
It was like they had gin and tonic carts out.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was like, who wants a nice gin and tonic cart?
Doesn't sound terrible.
But there's that's where the Star Wars stuff is.
Yep. It's true.
And so we could go over there for a bit.
It's true.
Dan, we're going to plan out this whole day, like everything we do that day. We'll do like little pop-ins online. You know, it'll be great. It'll be a whole thing.
I love it.
Go live on Instagram or something. I don't know. We'll just do it.
Sounds great. From my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
And from currently in New York City, next week from Mexico. Week from Mexico. You will hear, oh my God, you will actually probably hear the ocean.
That sounds wonderful.
And maybe a Boyd. There's always a Boyd. A Boyd.
A Boyd. Okay.
A Boyd going tweet.
Weird way to say that, but that's fine.
Boyd. You know, and maybe one that's like, wah! You know, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, from your office in New York, you are Maureen Johnson.
Dan,
and this has been Says Who.
It's really a hollow feeling when you think about Trump versus Biden. Like some of these others got your blood pumping in various good or bad ways. And then I just think about it and I feel nothing.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I feel like a zombie.
Yeah, sounds right.
Have a great week, everybody.